Out of sight, out of mind is a commonly used phrase that describes areas of daily life that we just don't want to think about. If you're a homeowner with a septic system on your property, it's easy to think of it as out of sight, out of mind. Nothing could be further from the truth. Just like a car, your septic system requires regular inspections and preventative maintenance to keep it running smoothly. Ignoring your septic system can ultimately cause it to fail. Routine septic system maintenance can save the owner thousands of dollars. The cost of having a system inspected is approximately $50 to $100. To have a system pumped costs between $100 and $250. In comparison, it costs between $6,000 to $15,000 to have a system repaired or replaced. Failing septic systems can also cause a serious threat to the health of family members and neighbors, especially if your drinking water comes from a well. Neglected septic systems can also reduce property values and damage the environment. Washing your hands, running the garbage disposal, taking a shower, and flushing the toilet are all household activities that produce wastewater. In most cities or towns, household wastewater flows through a community sewer system to a municipal sewage treatment facility. The sewage is processed and eventually released back to the environment as clean water. In areas where community sewer systems are unavailable, household wastewater is treated by a septic system. The most common types of septic systems are gravity, pump-assisted distribution, and mound systems. The main components of a gravity-type septic system are the tank, effluent filter, distribution box, and a soil absorption field. According to the Indiana State Department of Health, the size of a septic tank is determined by the number of bedrooms in a home. A 2-bedroom home requires a 750-gallon tank, while a 4-bedroom home should have a 1,250-gallon tank. Please check with your local health department on septic tank sizing, as they may have different requirements.
In this particular instance, there's 9 people living here, so we knew the owner wanted the best that he could get and the maximum treatment methodology you could get, because you don't want to have to construct one of these twice in your lifetime if you can avoid it.
Older septic tanks have only one chamber. Most new tanks have dual chambers. A dual-chambered tank is better at separating liquids and solids. Wastewater leaves the home through a sewer pipe and enters the septic tank. It's temporarily held in the tank's first chamber as the primary treatment process begins. Heavier solids start to separate and settle to the bottom of the tank as the lighter greases and fats or scum rise to the top. Gradually, a layer of clarified liquid is formed between the solids and scum. Bacteria start working to decompose the solids, creating a sludge that accumulates at the bottom of the tank. Approximately 15 to 20% of the solids cannot be decomposed by bacteria and will remain in the tank.
The anaerobic bacteria is present in our waste, our human waste. By incorporating that into the tank, it breeds. The key aspect is that you can't breed it any faster than you can feed it. So if you're putting things in the septic system that are antiseptic, it can actually be detrimental to the digestion of those sludges and or the natural decomposition of the activated sludge.
Liquid, leftover solids, and scum move to the tank's second chamber and the separation process continues. A properly functioning septic tank should remove approximately 75% of the suspended solids, oil, and grease from the effluent. Over time, sludge and solids will gradually fill the tank, leaving little room for the clarified liquid. To avoid problems, a qualified professional should clean and inspect the tank every 2 to 3 years. The partially treated wastewater leaves the tank within 24 to 36 hours and then passes through an effluent filter. Effluent filters are very effective at trapping solids that still remain in wastewater following primary treatment. Effluent filters allow only clarified wastewater to be released from the tank.
Even with all the pre-treatment, we still get a tremendous amount of suspended solids that collects on the filtering mechanism on the cartridge. This is not unusual. It's another method to filter out suspended solids out of the water before you're putting it either into the soil absorption field, mound, whatever system it may be.
All new septic systems should be built with effluent filters. Older systems can and should be retrofitted with the filters. In a gravity-type system, once the clarified wastewater leaves the tank, it flows through a distribution box. From the distribution box, it's carried by a network of solid pipes that lead to a series of trenches. Effluent moves through the trenches and slowly enters the soil. Once in the soil, the final treatment processes begin. Some trench systems might also use a pump to help distribute effluent to the soil absorption field. Other systems may be elevated or mounted to help with effluent distribution. Bacteria in the soil successfully break down any remaining contaminants in the clarified effluent. The best location for an absorption field is an area with deep, well-drained soils. Other types of septic systems utilize secondary treatment before the effluent reaches the soil absorption field. Examples of these systems are constructed wetlands, sand filter, and recirculating media filter. Indiana law requires a soil inspection before a septic system permit can be issued. The inspection must be done by a health officer or registered professional soil scientist.
I want to flush my toilet, I want it to go down, and I'm never going to have a problem. That kind of philosophy usually will last 5 or 10 years, and then they find out they have thousands of dollars in damages to their system.
When enough sludge and scum have accumulated in a septic tank, solids can be forced out into other parts of the system. To prevent problems, a qualified professional should clean the tank regularly.
The key issue is preventive maintenance. It is knowing what you have, educating yourself, and get qualified personnel to handle your system. It is not a homeowner, do-it-yourself type of project.
The amount of time between cleanings depends on the amount of solids entering the system and the size of the tank. For most single-family homes, septic tanks should be cleaned and inspected every 2 to 3 years. The cleaning professional should thoroughly remove all the sludge, effluent, and scum from the tank. What qualities should you look for in a professional cleaner?
You want to ensure that they have the knowledge and the experience to either maintain or fix your problem. You want to ensure that they do it legally. In other words, contact the county and or the state to ensure that there are permits on file so they know what they're talking about. Make sure they have the proper equipment and manpower to handle the task at hand. We utilize a policy: we will not drive on yards. Driving on yards can be very detrimental if you don't know the location of the system. It can compact soils and or break components of the system, pipes and tanks and those kind of things.
Effluent filters should be checked every 6 to 12 months and cleaned as needed. If the filters need more frequent cleaning, the septic tank probably also needs cleaning.
The reality of the situation is that people utilize the septic tank as a garbage can.
It's important to remember that whatever you flush down a toilet or run down a drain enters the septic system. Avoid flushing any object or substance that does not easily decompose. The following can clog the tank and increase the frequency of pumping: feminine hygiene products, non-biodegradable toilet paper, contraceptives, diapers, dental floss, cat litter, large particles of food, coffee grounds, paper towels, cigarette butts, powdered laundry detergents, lint, grease, fertilizers. These items can kill anaerobic bacteria and disrupt processes in the tank. Automatic toilet bowl cleaners, household cleaners, bleach, pesticides, paints and paint thinners, motor oil, gasoline, solvents, and pharmaceuticals. Excessive use of antibacterial soaps can also have a negative impact. Remember, your septic system is not a trash can or hazardous waste dump. Numerous septic system additives are available, and the manufacturers promote them as necessities for proper system function. According to the Environmental Protection Agency, there are no conclusive studies that show any significant benefits from using septic system additives. In fact, some additives can actually damage your system.
So general rule of thumb is if it's not biodegradable, don't put it down the drain.
Water conservation also helps to keep a septic system healthy. When too much water enters a system, it can overload the soil absorption field, creating ponds of wastewater on the ground. How can you conserve water? Fix leaky faucets and toilets. Install low-flow toilets and shower heads. Wash only full loads of clothes and dishes. Don't run water continuously when showering, brushing your teeth, or shaving. Water conservation will extend the life of a septic system and reduce the chances of system failure. Additional system maintenance tips. Use strainers over drains to help reduce the amount of hair, grease, and food entering the system. Use lint traps on washing machines. Minimize garbage disposal use. Try composting or throw food waste in the garbage. Don't plant trees around the system, especially near the soil absorption field. Keep vehicular traffic and construction off the system. Nothing larger than a riding lawnmower should be driven over the system. Divert runoff water from the lawn, roof, driveway, and basement drain away from the soil absorption field.
If you don't maintain the system, you don't take a look at it, the one thing that will be guaranteed is a short life and premature failure.
Keep accurate maintenance records on your system. If needed, your local health department may have documentation of your system's size and location. The more information you have, the more helpful it will be if problems occur or you sell your home. Homeowners sometimes mistakenly believe their septic systems are working properly so long as their toilets flush and there's no smell in the yard or adjacent ditches. Warning signs of septic system problems are odors, surfacing sewage, wet spots, or lush vegetation growth over or near the absorption field, plumbing or septic tank backup, slow draining fixtures, gurgling sounds in the plumbing system. The color of grass over a soil absorption field can be a good indicator of septic system function. In warmer months, there can be color differences in the grass above the field. It's normal to see alternating strips of brown grass that are approximately 3 feet wide. Brown grass indicates that wastewater is being properly absorbed into the soil and is not filling up the trenches. Resist the temptation to water the brown strips, as this can reduce the effectiveness of an absorption field. Grass color can also be an indicator of system problems. Strips of green grass above the absorption field can represent a stressed system that's unable to handle high wastewater flows from the home. The trenches fill up, and nutrient-rich wastewater reaches the surface, creating lush green grass over the field. The most frequently reported septic system problem is sewage backing up into the home. Some common causes of system backups are roots clogging parts of the system, excess water entering the septic tank, plumbing lines blocked, pump failure, and damage to the soil absorption field. Homeowners will usually take immediate action to correct a sewage backup problem before it becomes a serious health hazard. Another common septic system problem is wastewater surfacing in a yard. Common causes are excess water entering the septic tank, system blockage, improper system elevation, pump failure, damage to the soil absorption field. Don't hesitate to check with your local health agency for help with septic system problems. With help from qualified specialists, many problems can be corrected with a minimal amount of cost and effort. Remember, just like a car, your septic system requires preventative maintenance and regular inspections to keep it running smoothly. It may be out of sight, but your septic system should not be out of mind.